As you know, this is an online learning platform for ladies, and we are still on the topic, mentoring for business and career success. I am Bukkygards. Today, I'm truly excited because we have with us in class an exceptional and truly phenomenal lady in the Nollywood industry. She is a multiple award-winning veteran actress, ordained preacher, conference speaker, secular and spiritual life coach. She bagged a doctorate degree in Christian education and ministerial arts from the prestigious Kingdom Light Bible College. She's been on stage for over 27 years. So, if you have watched movies like Nneka the Pretty Serpent, Glamour Girls, Moms at War, Small Chops, A Jesus Story, and Abuja Connection, you probably have an idea of who we have today. Please, in an exceptional and phenomenal way, welcome with me, Dr. Eucharia Anunobi.
Oh, phenomenal lady.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
I think I got those things because I'm sure some people don't even know that you're a preacher.
Yes,
right?
so yes, you got it. It's just that you went longer than I've been in the industry. I've been in the industry for 24 years.
Okay, Glamour Girls. I thought Glamour Girls was
And
2004,
No,
right?
there's a Glamour Girls Part 1,
Okay.
and there's a Glamour Girls Part 2. I featured in Glamour Girls Part 2.
So you've been in the
Industry like 24 and a half years.
24 and a half years
now.
Wow, that's great. I think I'm still close to the mark.
Oh,
so,
you are.
Somebody once mentioned that if you want to land in the moon, if you can't get there, just fall among the stars. So I think I've done.
Oh, you tried. You did a great job.
So thank you so very much, Ma, for honoring our invitation to be on this show today. All right, so we have a guest in the house today, and she will be sharing with us her experiences, how she got into Nollywood, how and when she got into Nollywood, her challenges, her success stories, and most importantly, her core values that contributed to this success story. So today, Mark would like you to share with us how and when did you get into Nollywood? I'm sure a lot of people want to get into Nollywood. You know, some people want to act, some want to be scriptwriters in the writing and the various aspects of film production. How did you get into it? And for those who want to join Nollywood or they want to use your experience to build their business, did you get into it by default or was it premeditated?
Let me say it's by default and not premeditated, because if you say premeditated, it means that I thought about it, I planned it, and I wanted to, get into the industry. No, I didn't. It was by default, according to your language. Why I started first in my teenage years as a model, and then in modeling, that's one of the things that took me all through while I was in the university. And then having come out of school, that's my first degree from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Did my youth service. I'm one person that I don't like what they call routine work. I'm a spontaneous person. I like to be very creative, and then I remember having finished, my first degree, did my youth service here in Lagos. My dad was like, okay, I'm going to help you to look for work in an office, because, he's the normal, civil servant, and that's what he thought was the best, but I didn't want it. And then I sort of continued modeling, and then in the course of it, I met a friend, a guy, a co-model, who was like, one day he looked at me. I think we were doing what they call a casting job somewhere in Nollywood, as a matter of fact, where I think I've forgotten the advertising agency that was in that building, but that's where I think Tasty Fried Chicken. What's the other one? Sweet Sensation started. That building just there, and then he looked at me. We were all sitting down playing. Was like, I think you're more than this. I said, Eucharia, you're more than this. Maybe I'm going to help you and then introduce you to people that can act, because I like to act and play, with my, co-models thing, and that's it. So he introduced me into the, entertainment industry, and I went for auditions from one audition to the other, and that's how it all started. I think the first few auditions I attempted, I was not taken. Why? Because the fees they were offering, was not palatable to me, so I refused. But then someday I got a note in my house from, one of the actresses then who had already featured in Neka, The Pretty Serpent Part 1. And that is the junior Neka, and then she's called me and said, they said they want to do Neka Part 2, and they're looking for a very beautiful girl, tall, light-skinned and everything, someone who, according to them, had the features of a queen-like, babe-like, and they think that I would fit into the role. And that's how I went for the audition, and true to, God being favorable to me, I was chosen for the role. That's how I did Neka the Pretty Serpent Part 2. I just played 2 scenes in the movie. And like they say, to God be the glory, that's how I started. So in quote, it's by default, not pre-planned.
Wow, that's very great. Thank you so very much, Ma. Whereas we know that every industry has its accompanying challenges, and which we know Nollywood is not an exception. What are the challenges you encountered while building your career?
Well, I want to say a whole lot of challenges because, being an actor, it's one career that a lot of people always tend to misunderstand. Why do I say that? Because of the roles that an actor or an actress, tends to always play. And then for the purpose of this interview, just like every other interview I always grant, I refer to actors and actresses as actors, as actors, an actor. So most of the time you find that people tend to equate the roles that an actor plays to their personality, to their real life. And they begin to think, okay, maybe because you acted the role of a thief. And I always tell you, it doesn't mean that you're a thief. And then maybe you acted the role of a wicked housewife or a wicked mother-in-law.
Does it make you a wicked person?
Or maybe you acted the role of a promiscuous person. It doesn't make you a promiscuous person.
Doesn't define you.
Yes, doesn't define you, So that's one of the challenges, people misrepresenting you, people misunderstanding you, people equating, temperaments that are not you to yourself. Because one, I want to believe, and a lot of actors can bear me witness, most entertainers, as a matter of fact, are very shy people. And I know that if I say I'm very shy, I'm like, you kidding me? But you see, because God has given us grace, and there's a gifting inside of you, and you just need to, get it out. So when you come, to the place of the work, you just have to put down your shyness, because as it were, when you're working, you're not actually in the stadium, in quote, you're within, an enclosure where there are a few people watching you with the cameraman or with the camera woman, as the case may be, so that's what happens. So you'll be able to curtail your shyness and not be, shy, in quote, so then a lot of people, most times they see you in public, they look at you funny, like, oh my God, because he acted that role or she acted that role. They begin to want to
relate with you based on
to relate with you on that character that you play. So it's quite challenging. I remember, for instance, when I did the movie Glamour Girls Part 2, in that movie I played the role of a student, and then not just a student, I played the role of how will I put it, a seductress, a husband snatcher, and I took the husband of a man who came after me anyway. I didn't. It's not as if I went out of my way, the character as it were, to go and seduce the man, but the man came after me and fell in love with me, and then of course I got married to him as it were, and then when the movie came out, everybody was looking at me like, oh my God, she's so sexy. Oh my God, I'm sure she gonna take your husband from you. So I will even see sometimes when couples are walking by, I will see the woman unconsciously
like trying to shield
and hold the husband very well.
Don't look at
like,
your husband.
Don't look at your girl because she's gonna take your husband from you. So it was so funny and challenging. But then I know it's all part of what goes with the terrain and with the job. Just like I believe that in every career, there are challenges, and then of course sometimes we stay on locations at very odd hours. Sometimes we could be in location for till 6 in the morning. And I'm talking about like from maybe 8 o'clock in the morning when we started. If we are under pressure to finish from a particular location.
Till 8 p.m. at night, right?
We're talking 8 p.m. I'm talking about till the next day.
Like
Sometimes,
24 hours.
yes, we go to lands that that we may not even understand the road to the land, as it were. When I say such, I'm sure you wonder what do I mean by that. Like I remember the movie that I did called Eucharia. You understand where I played the princess? Yes, I played the princess and I played the priestess.
Okay.
And in that movie, we had to go to a cave in Nike, in Enugu. And when we were going to go to this place, we had to stop the vehicle because after a while there was no pathway apart from footpath to get to the cave, and we needed to walk like about 30-40 minutes to get to the cave. And then when we got to the cave, there was under a mighty big tree where water was running, and we needed to use that picture, that location. So sometimes, we go to places that are, in quotes, so physically demanding. We have to walk on foot, we could stay for hours, sometimes without food, because sometimes if we are at locations where it's not motorable, the welfare people might take some time before they get us food, or we might not even have water to drink because maybe in getting to such a place, where to get the next thing, for us to refresh ourselves or to have welfare is not available if the welfare had not prepared adequately. So it comes with a lot of challenges, Thank you.
Wow, that's quite great. And you've heard all industries have their accompanying challenges. It's not related to Nollywood alone. I'm sure your industry and mine also have our own peculiar challenges.
Yeah.
So we need to find that particular thing that can help us weather the storm so that we can triumph and excel in our industry. Thank you very much, Ma, for coming on this show.
Thank you.
But we'd like to go on the third topic, which are your core values. We're sure that you have personal core values, even though we know that for all the children of God, we say that God is the foundation of our success, and which I believe valid and very, very correct. But we know that you have some personal core values that helps in weathering those storms, all those periods that you have to go through, villages that you don't know, the resilience can be part of those things, but we really need to hear from you. What are those core values that helps you in building a successful career in film acting?
Thank you very much for that question. I want to say first and foremost, as a believer, as a Christian, as a true Christian, like we normally say, I thank God for my salvation. I know you may not understand why I say this, because without God, I don't know how I would have managed. And the industry, like I said, the entertainment industry, especially the movie industry, my goodness, if you don't have God, you will, become a waste and you will be derailed. And then I think God helped me to give me insights, principles, and what I call, walking helps for me. Let me use that like a walking stick. God gave me walking sticks to be able to go through the industry, and then belt me up to know what is right and what is wrong. Because if you don't know God, knowing God means you have to know the words of God to know God. Because when you know God, know His words, then you understand, what should be done and what should not be done. So basically, having been born again since 17th of March, 1997, that was I think like a year after I had done the movie Glamour Girls Part 2, because the momentum, the monstrous applause that the movie brought to me and the accolades it brought to me was overwhelming. And that's one of the things that took me to Christ, and that built me up. And it came to make me know that I can't stand people who are not disciplined. So one of my core values is the fact that I am practically a perfectionist. I believe in discipline. I believe in professionalism. And for anything that I'm doing, I like to do it well. If I'm working, if I'm, acting, if I'm preaching, whatever it is, even if I'm just cooking, I love to do it well.
So I believe that our viewers can actually take a cue from this. Whatsoever you're doing, whether you're into sales, you're a career person, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, professionalism, please finance, you have to put that finance in whatever you're doing, whether you're just into small scale, medium scale, or a large scale business. You can take a cue from this. Core value, professionalism, hard work, discipline. These are things that our veteran actress has just spoken to us, that she has taken as one of our core values, and it's really helping her in her career.
Yes.
What are other? I'm sure you have more.
Oh yes, I do. So, like I said, just want to round off on that, discipline and professionalism. You understand me? Because one. For instance, being an actor, an A-list actor, you can come on set these days, you see an actor come on set and they'll be saying, hey, what is that script? What did he say? What is the story? And I'm like, I can't find it. How can you be given a script and a movie that you're supposed to be part of and you've not read the script and you don't understand it? For me, when I'm given a script, apart from the normal thing I have to do, which has to do with praying to God, I say, God, please give me wisdom to be able to understand, what is needed for me to do in this job. Everywhere I am going, I'm reading my script as if I'm going to do jamming. I pay serious attention to it. So I don't like lazy people. That's another thing. Because I believe that if you're lazy, there's so many things that you cannot achieve. When you're lazy, you're laid back and you're docile, you won't be able to get the things you need to get on time. And then one of the things also that I've come to, know that is my core value is that I can't stand liars. I can't stand those who lie, those who falsify things, those who are not true to themselves. Because if you're not true to yourself, then you're not true to others. Yes.
So we have discipline, hard work, professionalism, cleanliness, which is next to godliness. Thank you very much, ma'am. And before we go, we'd like you to share with some of our viewers that they want to get into Nollywood, someone to go into film acting, script writing, lighting, and any other parts of the film industry. How would you advise them?
So you have to go register with the Actors Guild of Nigeria, and then.
So that's actually like a prerequisite to get into the.
Yes. And then secondly, it is in going to the office of the Actors Guild that you'll be able to have information about new producers who put up their, audition notices, to be able to know when new movies are about to be done. But now, in this day and age now, we have moved into the social media age. And I want to say things are becoming a little bit difficult, but it still doesn't stop the fact that you need to go to the Actors Guild office. Then if you know, in quotes, the known producers on social media, you can follow them up. For instance, like maybe Rock, or you understand me, and then follow them up, and then whenever they put up an audition notice, then you can be able to know where the address is. I could just be kind enough to give you one or two producers, that you can follow their pages. Like we have Chiemela 33, then we also have Mark Collins Chidebe, and Iroko TV. For instance, if you follow these three pages on social media, you all know about Rock, TV. So most of the time when they are doing a movie or about to do a new movie, they put up the audition notice. And Chiemela Act 33 is also one of the producers, that does a lot of great movies. So most of the time he wants to do movies, he puts up, audition notices on his, wall. So if you do follow him, you're able to see, the audition notices. But then, there are some people who are not resident in certain core areas where movies are being, done in terms of audition. We have a lot of auditions being done in Delta State, Asaba. We have a lot of auditions being done in Lagos State. So if you're in, let's say, Niger State, or if you're in Port Harcourt, or if you're in Imo State, it may become a bit difficult that you may not be able to have access to these places. So if you live in Lagos, then you can go to the actor's office, which is somewhere in the rural area. You understand me, and get registered there. basically. But then, of course, if you're also a writer, because you mentioned about writers, you could also try to join the Writers Guild, because the writers do have a guild.
So they have.
All the departments.
I think
do
like
it.
10 years ago, I tried producing a movie. I wrote the script and I met an actress. I told her I'd like to produce the scripts, and she told me, wow, it's going to be a bit difficult because it will cost a whole lot of money to produce this. So I quickly dropped it. I dropped the idea, and I think I've not visited it in the last 10 years.
Okay, well, that you've written a script and then you have to produce. Of course, to produce will cost a lot of money, which means that you need to get money on your own to produce it. But if you write a story and you want to sell it, that's a different ballgame.
Okay, well,
I
have such understanding of that, and I think that was about 10 years ago.
Yeah, because you can, if you still have your story and you think it's still viable,
yes.
of course you can still review the story and add more things to it. So
very
if you are to have financiers, because writing and producing, these are two different kinds of work. And then to have an executive producer is also another thing. An executive producer means the financier, someone who gives you money. You can get an auntie or an uncle or someone, or you can meet an organization who can give you money. And then you can now break down the script in terms of, okay, trying to know the actor, the actress that needs to fit into the role, get the cameraman, get the welfare.
And you can actually sell off your story.
Yes, you can sell it off.
So now you know that if you are a writer and you like to write for the Nollywood, you need to join the Writers Guild.
Yeah, the Writers Guild.
Yes,
you
can sell off your scripts.
Yes.
Or if you want to produce, like She Write Liquids, you can get a producer. That's
that's
the money.
Producer.
If you have the money.
Yes, so get a producer, get an executive producer. Because the producer most of the time is someone who is already versed in knowing how to reach out to the actors and actresses. Someone who is already, a professional in knowing how to negotiate with the actors and actresses. Well, I want to say that whatever career anyone is engaged in doing in life, even if you're a doctor, even if you're a teacher, even if you're an accountant, even if you're a furniture maker.
Or even if you are a Petsy trader.
Oh yes, even if you are selling, what's this thing that we put in the soup, crayfish. You can go ahead and ensure one, first of all, you have the spirit of righteousness, truthfulness, and don't cheat. Because one of the things I wanted to say is I don't like people that cheat. You understand me? So, that's a core value, and it helps you that people will always come to you and say, wow, I just love the way, he or she carries out their business. So if you, whatever you're doing, you are sure to maintain righteousness. Trust me, your customers will continually flow to you. And if you maintain cleanliness around your environment, you're sure that nobody will stay away from. Because I've been there. Sometimes I've gone to some hospital and you find the environments are, even outside the environment, not just inside, it's dirty. You see some places they have cobwebs, and because I like to look at places. So it's one of the things we need to be sure that we maintain our environments to be clean, no matter what it is that you're doing. Whether even if you're a carpenter, your things are arranged properly. You understand me? And then you stay truthful. And then above all, if as a child of God, you should always pray with regards to your business. That's the first thing you should do. And then like I said, laziness, a lot of people sometimes they say, I want money, but they are not working. Like sometimes I get a lot of DM, on my phone, on my social media platforms, on Facebook and on Instagram. Some people say, oh, Pastor Eucharia, please pray for me. I'm looking for a job. I said, what job are you looking for that you have not found? And if you're looking for a particular kind of job and you can't find it, why don't you bend low? Most of the time, people are so rigid. They don't want to go and look for another job. Because sometimes, in being too rigid, hunger will kill you. So, for instance, if you learned, let's put it now, hospitality in school, for instance, and you can't get work to work as a manager in a company or in a hotel, as it were. Why don't you start some kind of work that has to do with cleaning, being a caterer? Why can't you start doing laundry in your own house? Because some people say, oh, but I don't have space. What happened to the bathroom in your own one room?
The truth is that this is a recurring point. And a lot of people really want to start big. They don't want to do.
You don't have to start big. You start
They
small.
don't want to. But this is a recurrent. I remember the last facilitator that we have. She mentioned firm trust in God. Mrs. Omotayo or Omotosho. She mentioned that people should have firm trust in God, and that they should also learn to start small.
Straight.
Now you're saying the same thing. People must learn to start small.
Yes.
They must learn to, no matter what, it's better to earn something irrespective of the amount that you're getting. If you can wash, that's doing laundry.
Yes.
If you can sell. And it's, I think the Bible even mentioned that if you're not going to work, then you shouldn't bother to eat. So
don't
it's
despise
very,
days of small
very
beginning. Yes.
important.
Yes.
Now you've mentioned professionalism, diligence, and cleanliness, and firm trust in God. These again, I would say, they are recurrent points, and we must know in building our careers and businesses, professionalism, cleanliness, firm trust in God, and diligence are what we can't do without. They call it simple no hygiene. Yes, you can do without these things, and you must learn to start small. So thank you very much for coming on this show, and on behalf of all the exceptional and phenomenal ladies out there, I'd like to give you this.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. And God replenish the pocket of this company and replenish your pocket.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And with this, we've come to the end of today's class. But before we go, if you are yet to subscribe on my YouTube channel, please go to the subscribe button and click. Also like and share with friends and family. Thank you very much for hanging in there. Remain exceptional and phenomenal always. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye for now.
You're an exception.